We're live. We are back. Oh my gosh, it has been a while since I have streamed. Hello everyone, welcome to the Spider Talk news show. It has been a while since I streamed. If you're watching this back, then that's awesome. But if you are heading into the stream now, that is also awesome. There's a massive discussion tonight, okay? There's a massive discussion. Hello there, hi Spidercrafter. Hello, Monkey Vision. Yeah, it's actually over. Ray, have you not been reading Ultimate Spider-Man? Hi, Victor Edits. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so Ultimate Spider-Man is finished. So you know, it is finished, and we are done. We are done. Okay. If you have read it, why can't Marvel Editorial let Peter Parker grow up and marry someone else in 616? Well, we'll get to that. I think this is a massive issue that Ultimate Spider-Man has had. And one of the reasons why it's ending, it's just, he's back. What's up, Lewis? Hi, Cham, how we doing? It's good to see some old faces in the chat. I've not been reading it. It got so boring. This is another thing I want to talk about. We've got loads to talk about with Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'm sure people will come in here and let us know their opinions and stuff. Tonight's topics, of course, we're going to be talking a lot about Ultimate Spider-Man. That's going to be the main topic of discussion. There's been some new Sadie Sink, Jean Grey rumors as well that we want to talk about. I think, you know, later in the show, once we've sort of passed the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff. Sony is rebooting their universe. Is it going to be an animated thing? Is it going to be a live-action universe? We don't know yet, but that's something we can discuss and talk about. And we got the brand new day synopsis, which was really interesting. Gave us some interesting details about the film. I stopped reading the Ultimate Universe because it's genuinely a bore. We've got Ahmad in the chat. He says came home and immediately got the noti. Wow. Well, I'm glad that the notification's going out, okay, because I know YouTube has changed their homepage where it's only 3 videos that appear on the homepage now, instead of like 10, which it used to be. So YouTube is pushing shorts more than ever now, right? So you know, you literally go on the YouTube homepage on a computer, it's 3 long-form videos, and then it's 2 rows of shorts. YouTube is pushing. Stream's gone down for a second. Oh no, we're back. Okay. So I'm not sure how to feel about it. On one end, it ended too soon, but on the other, it felt like the quality shifted. I might have ranted about the monthly time skip in universe before. Spidercrafter, you're absolutely right, and this is something that I'm going to come to in my sort of discussion tonight. I just finished reading it yesterday. I thought the ending was alright. The pacing is a bit slow, but overall I really enjoyed it. Too bad it ended, says Cham. Well, I just noticed that. No, honestly, genuinely, the YouTube homepage is like got only 3 videos. It's crazy. Spider-Man, favorite superhero of my childhood when I was little. Me too, Pokewolf. Absolutely. I finally found an LCS to pick up the final issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm going to be spending so much more money on comics now, says Romantic Avocado. Well, that's good. Comics are always good to get into, and you know, the comic industry is actually, you know, it's not, I don't think personally, in a great place. I think DC did something great with the Absolute Universe, but I think just generally, I don't think, I've got something on my shirt. I don't think the universe is in the comic sort of world's in a great place. So yeah, but anyway, Ultimate Spider-Man. So first of all, what did you guys think of it? You know, if you've read Ultimate Spider-Man and you've read the ending, what did you guys think of the actual series, so like as a whole, and what did you think about the ending more specifically? So those are 2 things. Okay, what do you think of the series as a whole, and what do you think about the ending? I think I would have been happier if they would have continued the original Ultimate Universe and just removed the edginess from it and did what USM should have done and focused on families, says Monkey Vision. Okay. Bro dissed YouTube Shorts and they tried to take him out. Bro, they did. Bro, I just like went onto YouTube. I was like, YouTube Shorts, nah, man, it's not it. And then my stream instantly got disconnected for like a few seconds. Bro, they're trying to take me out. I didn't like the ending, but then again, I haven't liked this book in a year and a half, and I think that has been and we've had discussions, you and myself before, and a bunch of other people in the chat on multiple streams last year, and back just as Ultimate Spider-Man was starting, the new one by Hickman, and the first general consensus was that the book was good. The book had so much potential. I mean, let's start there, shall we? So the book, when the book first started, the book had so much potential, okay? And it was amazing, right? People were like, oh my God, MJ, Peter are together, they've got kids, they're married, it's an older Peter Parker, it's an older story, that's exactly what we want. It's an already established universe. Yeah, he's becoming Spider-Man for the first time, and maybe some people don't like that, but at least he had all of this other stuff that people wanted, right? And people were like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing to see the stories that they're going to be able to pull from this, okay? And that was how sort of it began. Everyone was gassed. Everyone was loving it. I can't tell you a single comic fan, a single Spider-Man fan, if not, you know, a single Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I mainly read it for the art. The art was fantastic, okay? And one thing this book has done better than the 616 comics at the moment is the art. You know, I love John Romita Sr. No, Senior. I love John Romita Sr., yeah. I love John Romita Jr. Don't get me wrong, I love John Romita Jr., okay? I love his art, okay? His art from the early 2000s. But recently, I'm not gonna lie, he has been stinking the gaff out on the 616 universe. On the ASM books, he stinks the gaff out. He does. He absolutely stinks it out. So yeah, I can't get behind John Romita Jr.'s art. And I thought the art from the Ultimate Spider-Man books, from all the artists that contributed to it, was amazing. And I thought that was something great that we got. Okay, no matter what, right? A bit off topic. Did you hear about the Ben 10 comic announcement? I didn't. They're making a Ben 10 comic. Okay, that's interesting. Look, Monkeyface, you shouldn't have said shit about YouTube Shorts. No, I shouldn't. Every time I mention it, I get like disconnected here. All right, okay, we're not gonna mention YouTube Shorts again, okay? But the stream's back. Okay, just know if the stream does freeze. By the way, I'm just gonna put this out there. Don't click off. Don't think YouTube's dying or your internet. It's me. Okay, it will take a few seconds and we'll be back. So do not worry about that. Okay, I'm so excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Says Poke Wolf. Absolutely, me too. The more I hear about Brand New Day, the better. You know, I've not been this excited for a Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man Homecoming. Well, no, I was excited for No Way Home. Okay, No Way Home was on levels of hype, right? Far From Home, I was kind of like, No Way Home. If Toby and Andrew weren't in it and they weren't doing the Spider-Verse thing, I was kind of like, well, I'm excited. It's a Spider-Man movie, like more than most movies, but I wasn't sort of at that level of hype. Brand New Day has got me like, you know, this is like sort of TASM 2 level of hype, because I was so gassed for TASM 2 when that movie was coming out, and then obviously that turned out to be really bad. So, you know, this movie, hopefully it's not bad, but we'll see. I only read the first 3 volumes. The first 2 volumes were amazing, and volume 3 started to lose potential, especially after the cliffhanger in issue 12. And oh my gosh. Okay, so let's move to that part of the discussion, shall we? Okay. So, Ultimate Spider-Man, the hype was amazing, okay? It started amazingly. And then the thing that killed it for most people, and I think even some people don't realize it, but what killed it for most people was the month time skips. Oh my gosh. And I remember me and Monkey Vision in the chat, me and Ray having this discussion as well once, is that the monthly stories killed it. Okay, because every time there's a cliffhanger, every time there's a moment of tension, there's a moment of sort of conflict, there's something that this book could hinge off, right? Something this book could do where, you know, you'd go, oh my gosh, this is going to get crazy. And I could think about multiple occasions where this was the case, issue 12 being one of them. I think Richard Parker getting the symbiote suit, or this ultimate version of the symbiote suit, whatever it is, that, you know, the Picotech suit, right? You know, there was so much tension around what would the relationship be there with Richard, and by the end it was kind of just forgotten about. It was like there was all this build-up of this suit being this really dark and twisted version of Spider-Man, and this was their version of the symbiote, and then Richard Parker get it, and that was a massive twist. Oh my gosh, Peter didn't get the symbiote, so it's actually Richard Parker. That's such an interesting concept on the symbiote story, on the Venom story. That's amazing. And then they kind of didn't do anything with it, and I feel like the monthly story thing really hurt the book. Because they just couldn't expand on the, you couldn't skip a month and then, pay off a cliffhanger or pay off some sort of conflict that was going on in the month before, because too much time would have passed. Now, oh, sorry, I just punched my mic. Sorry, I'm getting excited. Where it did work was the Craven story. The Craven story that they did was where it worked, right? Because the Craven story, Peter and Harry got kidnapped, and they were missing for a long time. So it kind of worked there, right? The skips. Okay, I'm not saying it didn't work every time. There was times where it did work. I think in the first couple of issues it worked because there wasn't much going on in Peter's life, and we sort of were jumping to different parts of Peter's life, seeing what was going on, seeing the different relationships he had with different people. That can't happen in a few days. Okay, so I kind of understood it. I think Spidercraft is right. As soon as it got to issue 12, it started to get a bit ridiculous. Monkey Vision says there's also a possibility the Ultimate Spider-Man continues with a relaunch, though. I find it hard to fathom that Marvel is willing to end a high-selling run where the comics need that. And I completely agree. I'm completely and utterly baffled as to why they have ended it. Now, I do agree. And the Absolute Universe, Ray hits it, the comic industry is a dying industry. But DC have done something amazing with the Absolute Universe. And I don't think Marvel can sleep on the Ultimate Universe when DC's doing that. Now, yeah, the Ultimate Universe might end, and I think it probably will. But one comic that can't end is Ultimate Spider-Man. Spider-Man is your biggest seller, Marvel. Spider-Man's your biggest and most profitable character that you have. You can't end the Ultimate Comics. It's not possible. Okay, you have to continue the Ultimate Comics. Simple as that. And I don't see any other way. And I think they've got to continue it. Okay, I really do, and I think I agree with Ray. I think in the next year, there's definitely a possibility of a relaunch. Maybe not with Hickman, maybe with someone else, but I think the same characters possibly. The more I hear about Brand New Day, the more worried I get that it'll be a mess. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Where am I? Okay, I think Ultimate Spider-Man shows that you can't just replicate the Peter and MJ marriage without all the groundwork that there was in the 616. The marriage in Ultimate Spider-Man was shallow, boring, and underdeveloped. Yeah, I also agree. I also agree with that point. I think well, maybe I don't fully agree. I think I'm maybe sat on the fence. I think you can have the marriage without the build-up. I think that's totally possible. But I think they didn't do enough with the marriage in the present to justify it. Okay, because the marriage in the 616 comics is special. Okay, we all know how it happened. The girl next door story. We know, how she was introduced during the Conway run, and that sort of the quadruple Harry, Gwen, MJ, and they're always talking about it. There's even been a comic run recently. I forget who it's by. It's Straczynski, isn't he? He's done, Amazing Spider-Man Torn. They're revisiting that again. Just shows you how powerful that sort of era was, and the build-up in it was amazing, right? So yeah, I agree the build-up is important, and the relationship and why it was so special. But I don't think we need that again, okay? You can give us Peter and MJ, and we understand how special that is. That's why everyone really loved the idea of them two being together in the Ultimate Universe. But they didn't do anything more than that. They kind of just went, oh, here's Peter and MJ married. Here you go. Done, right? Done. No, can't do that. No, we've got to do something with it. And I think that's where they went wrong. I think they were too lazy on the Peter and MJ side. And yeah, there was conflict here and there. There was a few disagreements, but there was no long-lasting consequence, which I didn't like. Lewis, are you living under a rock again? The first Wolverine game trailer came out, now the Ben 10 comic. I did see the Wolverine trailer. Don't worry. I saw the Wolverine trailer. Oh, you're talking about last stream. Oh yeah, that was a while ago. Ben 10 comic. I am living under a rock. I have a job. That's how I'm living under a rock. Okay. When YouTube was sort of more my thing, I would be chronically online. I am not chronically online anymore, unfortunately, as much as I would love to be. My job prohibits me from being chronically online, unfortunately, which is a shame, because if not, I would have known that there's a Ben 10 coming. I think the marriage is fine, says Monkey Vision. It's the fact that they banked on the marriage alone and not the dynamic between the marriage. Yeah, absolutely right. I completely agree. That's exactly what I said, actually, just now. That's almost word for word. The marriage without the build-up's fine. It's the fact that they banked on just that to take them through it, instead of building their relationship forward. I thought it was interesting that Peter didn't tell MJ at first, but the fact that it didn't then matter afterwards, you know, she was like, oh my god, you didn't tell me, and there was that discussion, but apart from that, there was nothing more. So I wish there was more to it. I really do. Never thought I'd be hyped to see Peter Parker be broke again. Brand new day, gonna be sensational. Yeah, we're preying on someone's downfall here, right? Shrek is a goat. Welcome to the chat. Spidercraft says exactly. It's like the end of issue 12 where the Pico tech suit was posing as Peter and MJ just discovered. Why didn't we see the reactions from MJ, Jonah, Ben, Richard, May, or anyone? Exactly, right? Hot take, Spidercrafter says as well, Harry should have died or been captured and Peter escaped during the Craven storyline. I agree. This is another point. Okay, so we are now moving on to the sort of the mid bit of the run, and this is where people are starting to really pick up on some of the issues. And one of the issues I found is this book is so conservative. Don't you think? Don't you guys think? And put in the chat if you agree with me. Don't you think this comic was really conservative? Like, not just on the Peter and MJ side, but on just everything. Like, they don't kill any characters that are really important. They severely injure Walter Hardy, okay? And yeah, in the end, they kill Kingpin and Mr. Negative. But they don't really kill characters. They don't kill characters. Shrek is a goat says, why does Ultimate Spider-Man feel like chunks of stories got skipped? And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. I don't know. I feel like Harry should have died. I felt like Harry became really obsolete as a character, right? Harry became so obsolete towards the end. I think, and that's another thing as well. Why did Harry not become a villain? Why did Harry not become a villain? It was so obviously set up. Why did he not become a villain? I don't know. It felt like they were building up to a Venom storyline, and they were building up to a Green Goblin storyline, and neither got paid off. And maybe Ray is right. Okay, maybe Monkey Vision in the chat is right. When I say Ray, I'm referring to Monkey Vision. Maybe Monkey Vision's right. Maybe they do relaunch Ultimate Spider-Man. And maybe Harry does become a villain. Maybe Richard Parker does become Venom, right? Maybe they do pay off these things. But as far as we know at the moment, the comic's ended. It's done. There's no more issues. That is the end. And there's so much that's been planted, but not enough that is paying off, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Hey, I have a question. What if they revive the OG Ultimate Universe? Would you like it? No. I think that is best left dead. I think that Peter's story is, you know, I think this is one thing that I will always say, and people do disagree with me on this. I know a few people in the chat who do usually rock up to the streams do disagree with me, but I think Ultimate Spider-Man, the original one, is one of the best pieces of Spider-Man media that we've ever gotten. And I know some people do disagree with me, but I really do believe that. And I think it's because it's got an ending. I think it's because Peter Parker has an ending, which we don't really see often. You know, even in the movies, and even in a lot of TV shows, Peter Parker's story gets cut off before he gets fully told. And that's a problem. And that's why I love Spider-Man Life Story quite a lot as well. Do you think JMS will join Ultimate Spider-Man 2024? I'd like to see JMS write it. Maybe that's where he jumps after Spider-Man Torn. I don't know. My bad, I'm spamming. No, don't worry, you're not spamming. You're contributing to the chat. Shrek is a goat. Many questions on here. This is going to be my last one, but didn't MJ and Peter's marriage feel like a little weak to you? It felt like they were going to get a divorce at some point. Yeah, I agree. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't think it's that they were going to get a divorce. I think they were too strong. There wasn't enough conflict in their relationship. And yeah, we want them to stay together, and I think they should. But there needed to be more resistance there, because, you know, people say, oh, you say they want there to be more resistance. You've just been praying for their marriage for so long. Just be happy they're together. And yeah, I get that, right? But like, that's not the point of storytelling. The point of storytelling is that there is resistance between relationships. There is conflict between relationships. When there isn't conflict, you know, you're just, this boring, right? And yeah, we want Peter and MJ to be together, but we want there to be something that drives us to think that they need to be together, or, you know, and there wasn't much there. Okay, congratulations on the job. Thank you very much, Spidercrafter. Spider-Man Torn was kind of weird because I don't know how it fits into canon. MJ is too open about her problems, and it tried to say their first kiss wasn't in Conway's run. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I thought MJ was a little bit too more like the modern MJ. So I thought that, yeah, but anyway, that's Spider-Man Torn. Okay, we got a lot of comments coming in. I'm going to try and catch up. Absolutely agree. It felt like there was no stakes, just like Stranger Things 5. Oh, don't get me started on Stranger Things. Oh my goodness me. But then again, Spider-Man doesn't kill people, says Romantic Avocado. We live in a world where TASM is more interesting than Ultimate Spider-Man was. I don't think consequences should happen via people dying, but I reckon Harry should have died in order to push Peter to become more determined as a hero. It could have been this Peter's canon event. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it could, you know, and the thing is, no, you know, you're absolutely right, you know, people don't have to die for there to be stakes or consequences, but the fact that there was none anyway, I think it could have benefited from some of the characters dying, and especially Harry. They had a big opportunity to, and as soon as it became obvious that they weren't going to do the Green Goblin story, I think they should have just killed him. And it would have made the story, it would have been a big shock factor. It would have been great for Peter's story. I feel like the lack of deaths proved the run was supposed to be longer. You know, it's an interesting point. We've mentioned it multiple times on the show so far. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Does it mean there's more to come? Also, Otto becoming Superior Spider-Man, did that go anywhere? Absolutely not. So that was another thing that I forgot to mention as well. But since we're on the topic of sort of the problems of the book and where it went wrong, and sort of the no payoffs for the book. Yeah, Otto became the Superior Spider-Man. I think because Peter was being hunted in the city and sort of everywhere, and his family was in danger. So Otto kind of took up a role as Superior Spider-Man, and he sort of went around doing things as well. But the Otto becoming the villain story, that never happened. Superior Spider, he didn't have to become Superior Spider-Man. It wasn't because it wasn't anything like it was in the original story in the Dan Slott comic. It was just kind of there because Otto becomes Superior Spider-Man. It's kind of like how Anti-Venom was in Marvel Spider-Man 2 because they could do Anti-Venom, just because. It was kind of like that. It kind of felt like it was just there because, oh, look, it's Superior Spider-Man. That's kind of how it felt, right? It didn't feel like it had any lasting reason, unless they continue the comic, unless there's a relaunch, unless they do another one, which we don't know about yet. Come on, Marvel. What are we doing? Anyway, yes, Otto became Superior Spider-Man. Hickman assumed that another writer would take the book up after his run, which is why he set all this stuff up. He should have tried to tell his own beginning, middle, and end, though. Absolutely right, and this is why the book is sort of not and it should get picked up. I've got to go for dinner. I'll be back, says Spidercrafter. Well, hopefully you have a nice dinner. Tell us what you have when you come back. Do you think Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man will return after Secret Wars? After Secret Wars, absolutely not. Categorically no, unless it's like 30 years down the line and Andrew Garfield comes back as like a 65-year-old Peter Parker in like a massive reunion movie or something like that. I think Secret Wars, they will show up, and I'm almost 100% convinced of that. Because this is sort of the Marvel, this is the end game of all Marvel movies ever. So I'm convinced they'll come back, but I don't think after that. No. If Marvel wants to reboot the universe, they probably won't. Would you want it to be like the New 52 or the Dawn of DC era? Oh, that's a good question. I wasn't ever really a big fan of the New 52 for DC. I remember when that was, you know, I'm not really much into DC. I don't really read much DC comics, but I've even got some of the New 52 Batman comics. And I did read quite a lot of The Flash, and I do like Flash. I haven't read Flash comics in years, but I used to read the Flash comics all the time. Oh my god, I love The Flash. But Yeah, I was never a big fan of the New 52. Michael Bowser, welcome to the chat. No worries. Yeah, that's fair. What are we talking about? We're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. The stakes were low, says Shrek is the GOAT. A better way to handle Ultimate Spider-Man Harry was have Harry would save him, not tell Peter that he survived when Gwen saved him. That way we can go about doing morally grey things with Gwen. I think Gwen was disappointing as well. I thought the twist with her being Mysterio, or like an entity of Mysterio, I thought that was really interesting. But I thought, once again, it sort of tailed off and it didn't have much resolution. I think, you know what's interesting? I think what we're discovering here, and I think maybe we already knew this, but what we're really discovering is if the Ultimate Universe version of Spider-Man is picked back up by a writer, they've got multiple villains ready to go. Harry Osborn is ready to become a villain. Otto, with a little bit more development, could become a villain. A good villain as well, because he knows the Parker family. Okay? I think almost certainly Gwen would become a villain. Unless she has a role in Ultimate Endgame, or, you know, they do something when they end the Ultimate... Because Gwen inherently is more tied to the large Ultimate Universe than the other characters. So maybe Gwen and she's definitely ready to become a villain. So, Comic Central says, hey Lewis, getting late, what I missed. We're just talking about Ultimate Spider-Man, the book. That eventually leads to a huge battle between when Peter finds out, says Romantic Avocado. I would be so down for a new 52 style Ultimate Universe where everyone is already established as a hero at the start. What would you think of a revival of the OG Ultimate Universe? I feel like the OG Ultimate Universe isn't talked about enough, and he was your favorite Spider-Man. I mentioned this about 10 minutes ago. I don't think that's a good idea. I think just leave it. I think it's a fantastic story as it is. I think we should continue this version of Ultimate Spider-Man. I think there's so much potential there, okay? But the book itself is so underwhelming. Have Harry and Gwen attack Venom, Richard, not knowing it's him, and badly beat him and Felicia, and that's how Peter finds out Harry is alive. That would have been mad if that was the case. By the way, inside joke, but you're crazy you're streaming today and an Enderboy video is coming out in 30 minutes. That is crazy, actually. The coincidence that you know, I'm forever tied to that character. Forever. He will always be in my soul. Same, I know the new 52 version is DC isn't really favored among fans, but I think it could work for Marvel. Possibly, yeah. I think it could. I think that's kind of what the Ultimate Universe tried to be. Sort of. I think it could work. I think, you know, sort of on the same topic. What do you guys think? Slightly off topic. Please, I want you guys to hear me out on this. Do you think they should reboot the 616 universe? Like, do what DC do? Is that something that you think Marvel should do? I know they've never done it, but do you think they would benefit from it? I think they really... I think Spider-Man especially... Now, obviously, I'm not caught up on all the characters. In fact, most characters I'm not caught up on. But Spider-Man, which I am chronically caught up on, as you guys probably know. If you couldn't tell. I think would benefit hugely from it. Do you think Gwen Stacy will be in Insomniac Spider-Man 3? No. No, because if she was, she'd be Spider-Gwen. And we've got Cindy Moon, so no. I think it's a... I think we're entering a period of time now, and this I'll make this very quick because I want to return to the Ultimate Spider-Man talk. But I think we're entering a period now where I genuinely don't think we'll see OG Gwen Stacy ever again. And that might sound dramatic, but I think I have a convincing argument to say I don't think we'll ever see the OG version of Gwen Stacy ever again. Is that crazy? I don't think so. Gwen Stacy is a character that has benefited a lot over the last few years from Spider-Gwen. But now, I think stories, and I think especially modern stories, are finding it hard to return to OG Gwen Stacy. When was the last time we had an OG Gwen Stacy adaptation? We've had the Spider-Verse, which did Spider-Gwen. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is doing Spider-Gwen. And the Insomniac universe would 100% make a Spider-Gwen. You know? I think we're pretty much done with Multiverse after Secret Wars. God, I hope so. Please no, they'll make a Spider-Man Monkey Vision. There we go. I don't know if that was in relation to that comment, but if it was, though, I agree. Do you think Marvel has ruined the 616 Mary Jane too much after One More Day made by... Yes, absolutely. I mean, that is not... It can never be overstated, that. Hearing you say... Whoa, Hearing you say my username makes me realize I really need to change it. Shrek is the GOAT. No, don't change it. Shrek is a GOAT. Okay? Yeah, I didn't love the New 52, but it could work for an alternate universe of Marvel. I just don't think they'd do it for the 616. The monthly jump really killed the Ultimate Spider-Man for me. They kept being interesting, things set up, but they would never resolve the next issue. And this is the main problem with this book, right? Main problem. The Ultimate Universe should have ended with Peter's death. Well, the original one did. Yeah, true, I heard Marvel's doing a what if the OG Ultimate Universe survived Secret Wars sometime in 2026. So at least that will be interesting. No, don't reboot 616. As much as it would benefit story-wise, business-wise, would probably kill them, and it would just be the MCU comic universe. That's true as well. We got to think about brand synergy, right? If they were to reboot the 616 universe, every character would become like the MCU, and I don't think people want that. That's a good point to make, actually. I think Spider-Man needs a reboot. I think the whole 616 universe, I'm open to debate because I'm open to debate about Spider-Man, but I'm sort of more tentative on sort of being like, okay, I think they definitely need a reboot. But when it comes to Spider-Man, I'm more sure. I'm more 100% sure that he needs a reboot because I just think we're too far gone. We are too far gone. Yeah, we're too far gone with Spider-Man in the 616 universe. 100%. Yeah, no, the problem with Marvel is they can't seem to tell new stories, and they always resell them. So the reboot would just be more retells. Yeah, I guess that's that. But I think one thing that Ultimate Spider-Man has done right is Ultimate Spider-Man has managed to, I think, take a fresh take on some of these characters. I think even though the potential of some of these characters and stories has not been paid off, I think one thing the comic has done is that it's proven that you can do the universe different. You can tell the stories differently. You can tell these characters differently. Still make it interesting. Still make it fresh. Still make it new. And as much as I agree, the retelling is a problem in Marvel Comics, and we talk about retelling the same stories over again in the 616 universe, I think Ultimate Spider-Man has proven that you can do it. And you can do it right, with a little bit of creativity. My criticism with this Peter Parker isn't that he isn't any different, as he doesn't think Harry might be a sociopath, as he doesn't show remorse and doesn't think he was using him. I don't know. I think that their relationship is very complicated, and that's one of the things that I do like about the Ultimate Spider-Man book is Harry and Peter's relationship is pretty good. I just think towards the end, it tailed off like a lot of the stories. But I think the foundation is there for a big hero-villain arc ready to go. So I think if the book is picked up, I think we are ready to go with that. I think 100% they should reboot the 616, at very least Spider-Man. Definitely will help when new fans and readers get invested in their comics. They should reboot, but I think you might need to start from the very beginning instead of like 5 years into everyone's careers like the New 52. So, okay, so we're thinking maybe another reboot. An origin story, sorry. Thoughts on Superman Spider-Man? My bad, just having a lot of fun hearing your takes since I love in a place with very scarce amount of nerds, so I'm finally getting to talk, so thank you so much. No, don't worry. Well, welcome to the stream, Shrekkers Ago. I'm glad that you're a part of this community, and hopefully you subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to try, I know I say this every time I stream, but I'm going to try and stream more. Okay, I really need to find the time, and I'm thinking this Friday afternoon/evening slot is the best one, so make sure to subscribe, make sure to turn notifications on, and make sure to look out for the streams on Fridays. But moving back to your question, thoughts on Superman Spider-Man. Is it out yet? Yeah, like someone said I was living under a rock. I am, because I don't even know if it's out. Is it out? It's coming out very soon, isn't it? If it's not out already. But I'm gonna read it. It's looking really good. Some of the art is looking really good. It's looking really, really good. When will Nick Lowe leave Spider-Man editorial? Hopefully tomorrow. They should bring Miles. I'm sorry, Nick Lowe. Did you see? As soon as I stopped talking about YouTube Shorts, I didn't disconnect. Just saying, by the way. I've jinxed myself now. They should bring Miles into the 616 universe. They already have. They already have. Loved the first 12 issues of Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man, and then it fell off on the back of 12. I think we mentioned this. Yeah, absolutely. This is what we've been mentioning in sort of the whole stream so far, and the whole sort of discussion we've been having. Yes, that's a general consensus. People are just that's kind of what we're saying. Yeah, you're so right. Okay, you're so right. Also, that when Tony Stark came to visit, he mentioned about how Peter, that the list Peter is part of, and Harry was as if he was never meant to be the hero, and as if his dad is just all self-serving and entitled. Yeah, exactly. This is the point we're making. The villain arc for Harry Osborn was set up right from the get-go. Now, maybe Hickman's intention with Harry was that, okay, he's not meant to be a hero and he's not on the list, so he's going to go on to become a hero and he's going to defy the odds or something. And yeah, okay, I like that if that's what he's going for, but there was other things as well as that were planted, like he's going to become a villain. So yeah. That's actually a good point. They probably just MCUify everything. They would 100% do that. If they can MCUify Marvel Zombies, they can do anything. That is true. Marvel Zombies is Dawn of Decay is so disgusting. Like Batman gets a lot of creative liberties, like the Doom that came into Gotham by Gaslight, and the Aztec movie. I need to go. Nice finally catching a stream. Well, thank you for coming, Romantic Avocado. Nice to see you once again. Okay, I'm already subscribed. My bad, not trying to... not used to typing on my phone. No, it's out in March. Oh, okay, so I haven't missed it. Okay, that's good. Comes out next month. Okay, have you seen the note leaving low in ASM 2025 issue 9? No, I haven't. Why, what did it say? Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the stream. I like the idea of rebooting 616 with most heroes already established, but the main story of the universe picks up with Captain America being thawed out of the ice. That's such a good idea. I like that. Familiar. Most fans will know it. Good jumping on point. Origin story. But maybe we already have some of the heroes. So it'd be like sort of... If the comics... Now, I know we don't want to MCUify it, but just using the MCU as an example. It'd be like picking up where just before Avengers 1. If, like, in the comics. So you've already got Iron Man. Maybe you've got Hank Pym as Ant-Man. And you've got the Wasp. You've got, you know... So Janet Van Dyne is there. We're not doing the Scott Lang thing. Not yet, anyway. You know, we've got all the OG characters. You know, you got Bruce Banner's there. Maybe he isn't the Hulk, or maybe he's still on the run or something. And then Captain America comes out the ice, and that's how we start. I like that. I do like that. They should have done a what if comic on what if Harry became Spider-Man instead of Peter, so he would have a hero arc. Is Superman Spider-Man your most anticipated comic of 2026? It's up there. It's up there, yeah. I don't have many comics that I'm excited for this year, I don't think. I'd probably say it is probably up there. If the MCU resets, will we see a new Ned and MJ in MCU Spider-Man? No, they'll never get recast. They can never recast. Especially, they can't because they're an integral part of those movies. But anyway, okay, final sort of discussion on Ultimate Spider-Man before we move on to the other topics, because we've really got to get moving with these other topics. But... yeah, what would we give? Okay, if you were to give Ultimate Spider-Man from issue 1 to issue 24 a score out of 10, what would you give it? And maybe even explain why. You don't have to explain why if you don't want to. Just put in the chat what would you give it out of 10? Okay, maybe give you. I mean, you guys have been giving reasons all stream long, but give me a reason why maybe. SR Striker says, or if it even a part of the canon. That anyone who is a friend of Spider-Man secretly hates his guts, like Harry and Eddie from Spectacular Spider-Man series, because life never went that way. It could be. It could be. Okay, so put in the chat what you would give Ultimate Spider-Man. And after... hi, Spidercrafter, welcome back to the stream. We are giving our ratings on Ultimate Spider-Man from out of 10. So everyone in the chat, give me your rating. Okay. You mentioned Flash earlier. Next month, Flash is relaunching with Ryan North. Oh, is it? It's relaunching. Is it an origin story, or is it picking up on a different thing? I ask you Comic Central because I've not been keeping up. But if it's sort of starting from the beginning, I will pick it up because I love the Flash. I love the Flash. I want to get back into it. Have I missed anything? We're just talking Ultimate Spider-Man still. You've not missed much. We've just sort of relayed on the same issues. Talked a little bit more about 616 as well. The new one or the OG one? The new one. The new one. So from issue 1 to 24. I give the final issue of Ultimate Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. Wow, okay. Kevin going in with the 10 out of 10. I read 1 to 18 and 24, but I'd have to rate the story a 7 out of 10 and art a 10 out of 10. Okay. Comic Central gives it 7.5 out of 10. SL Striker asks, what do you think about the Absolute DC Universe? I have not read any of it. I've been meaning to read Absolute Batman. I'm trying to find the time. If Ray is still in the chat, what would you rate it? I'm interested in your opinion, even though you haven't read the recent issues. Up until sort of when you stopped reading, what would you have given it? 7 out of 10 says Michael Bowser. I'd give it a 6.8 out of 10, says Spidercrafter. Very specific score. Good start. Middle could have been so much more. And the ending was too soon. Okay. Oh, 4.5 out of 10. That's harsh. Okay, that's very harsh. Yeah, he's come back. Yeah, 5 out of 10. 4.5 is a little harsh. Okay. Stopped really enjoying the run after the first volume, issue 1 to 6. Didn't even really care for the Craven arc either. Yeah, I mean, just touching on the positives of it, right? The middle of the story is where it really, really stopped being good. But I really liked the Craven arc. The Craven arc was a highlight for me. I really, really liked it. And the final issue was really good. I did really like the final issue. And I think Hickman's writing is really good. It's just a shame that he didn't pay off anything he set up. Yeah, there were a few stinky ones in there, though, you know, when you really put it together. Emmanuel says 7 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. I really like the storylines, the art, the character, but it always felt like they could have pushed it more. That seems to be the general consensus. 6 out of 10. The entire universe feels meandering after the first year. Oh, that's a good word. Meandering. I like it. Okay, small moments, but that's just comics. Friends will hate each other and then make up. Take Ben Reilly, for example. They were brothers back then, mind you, with how they acted with each other. Well, that's a good point, actually, you know. The comics characters never stay put or never stay to decisions or stay to consequences. I don't think it's an origin. Wally West is the Flash in its new era post DC KO, DC's big event. Okay, I might leave it then. I might leave it. I don't know. I might leave it. I want an origin, whether it's Wally or Barry. I'm not bothered. I just want an origin. 10 out of 10 says Victor Edits. 6 out of 10 for SL Striker. Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute. Who's MM? Am I missing something? Martian Manhunter. Sorry. Oh my god. I'm a fake comic fan, man. I live in my Spider-Man hole. Okay, leave me alone. Are really amazing books. Well, okay, maybe I'll have to pick. I've been meaning to read Absolute Batman. I really have. Do you think Ultimate Spider-Man 2024 is an example of why Marvel should let Peter Parker grow up and be married with someone else? This is a fantastic question, actually, and I want to know what you guys think. And I know some of you guys will have opinions on this. Do I think Ultimate Spider-Man 2024 is an example of why Marvel should let Peter Parker grow up and be married with someone else? Oh, that's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. I'm going to say yes and no. Hi Phoenix, how are we doing? I'm good, thank you. How are you? Welcome to the stream, by the way. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to sit on the fence, but I'm going to lean more towards no. I'm going to say no because I think there's still a way to do MJ and Peter right. And you all know that's true as well. Okay? Peter and MJ will always work if written right. And I think we all know that's the case. Okay? Now, do I think that they had an opportunity to do that and fumbled it? Yes. Unless it continues. Now, do I think they should give it another shot with another new version of the character and another new reboot and another new something or whatever? No. No, I don't. I think just I don't think people are going to fall for that again. Because I think one of the reasons why Ultimate Spider-Man was so hyped up was because this was the first time we're going to get this older Peter Parker with MJ. People have been asking for years. don't think people are going to fall for it again. People are going to be skeptical. As far as the 616 universe goes, should Peter be with MJ? He should be. If they're not going to put them together, if they're not just going to commit, should Peter just go with someone else? Probably. It's my harsh and unfiltered opinion. Should Peter marry someone else in the 616 universe? Possibly Shay Markin if they start to actually write her character right. Possibly someone else. Possibly a new character. Yes. Yes, he should be married to them. Yeah, that's the direction they should go. Will it happen? No. If they're not going to put him with MJ and do it right, yeah, of course. They should. Man, it's so difficult, isn't it? It's so difficult. And people will disagree with me, I know, because people will say MJ forever. But, you know, I think we've got to progress this character, and it's one of the problems with the 616 universe. But I think Ultimate Spider-Man fumbled it. They did. They really did. You know, on a larger scale, they did. Okay. Craven part was fun as it was. Early, most action part, and I thought Spider-Man would fight the Mole Man. I remember about the 60s Spider-Man cartoon when he fights the Invisible Man. The goated cartoon. Peter shall only be married to MJ. No one else has romantic avocado, except maybe Gwen in an alternate universe. In an alternate universe, yeah. I think it'd be cool. Now, I know I'm all about sort of moving the character forward, but I think like an Ultimate Spider-Man style alternate universe that ran for maybe 20 issues or something like 20, 30 issues, something like that. That did a what if Peter was married with Gwen, and they fleshed out that story. I know there's been what if comics of this before, and they've played on this idea. I know recently they did in the Spectacular Spider-Man comic, with Miles Morales. There was that whole thing with the, you know, the story with at the beginning with the Jackal, and they did Gwen and Peter were like sort of married for a portion of that. So I know they sort of teeter on doing Gwen and Peter get married at some point. But yeah, I'd like to see that. I think that'd be interesting. I think it'd satisfy a craving that I think a lot of fans have for Gwen and Peter. Yeah, he should grow up. And I was thinking if Spider-Man got the same treatment as Batman, the Caped Crusader, where we subvert expectations. I think Ultimate Spider-Man kind of did that. The problem with ASM in the last 20 years is the responsibility is missing from Peter Parker completely. The defining trait is left out of the book. Wait, I just realized my sentence sounds a bit weird out of context. Peter should be married to MJ, a dad to Mayday, April, Annie, and Benji, and a brother to Ben, Kane, and Teresa. Peter should grow up. Ultimate Spider-Man isn't a good reason why, though. The marriage should be like icing. You can't just put icing on a bad cake and call it a day. That is such a fantastic fact. I'm screenshotting that. Sorry. I'm screenshotting it. You know why? Because I am going to be making an Ultimate Spider-Man video, and I'm going to try and pull comments from streams and community posts and comment sections, and I'm going to try and refer to them as to what fans actually think. I want to make it a video where it's like the fans are involved. You know what I mean? I want to make it feel like the fans are heard. I want to make feel like it's sort of projecting our concerns with the book, because this was an opportunity that they shouldn't have passed up on, Marvel Comics. And yeah, I want to, this is why I'm doing, I really want you guys to tell me how you feel about it. Okay? And there's such a good way to put it. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is such a good way to put it. I don't think I could have put it any better than that. That is crazy. Okay, but when the writing gets good in 616, Joe Kelly could bring Peter Parker and Felicia Hardy back together in 616, but only if it's done well and not rushed. They have an on and off thing, don't they? And I don't think it's gonna, I would never work out. Has anyone seen a Reddit theory on Ultimate Mole Man and Peter's dad? What do you think about it? Oh, that's a theory. Is it? Oh my god. Thoughts on Sony finally making a deal to have Spider-Man appear in Daredevil Born Again Season 3, since there's a rumor going around that they might adapt Devil's Reign with Spider-Man playing a pivotal role. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think Spider-Man's ever going to show up in a Disney Plus show. I think there'd have to be some crazy deal for that to happen. Right, I'll catch up on these comics, and then we will move on to the next topics. And then we will end the stream. Would you like it if Marvel would make a TV show based on Peter Parker being married to MJ and having a family still being Spider-Man? I would love that, but I think they've got to do it right. Should there be a what if titled What If Spider-Man Never Sold His Marriage? Yes, I think there should be a comic titled that, and then I think they should replace it with the actual 616. Thoughts on Marvel writer Joe Quesada? Listen, to get into the position he's in, I mean, you have to be good at what you do. I just think some of the decisions that, I mean, not just him, but all of them that have made over the last 20 or so years have been, some of them are diabolical for the character. And I just, you know, it's not just exclusively editorial or anything. It's, you know, in some cases, Dan Slott has made some boo-boos. So is Zeb Wells, you know, we know Zeb Wells. And just, yeah. But anyway, what I mean is that some people think they should just be married for the sake of it. Absolutely right. 100%. They should be married. There should be a reason for the marriage. It's not just satisfying for them to get married. I think at first it was, but then they didn't expand on that relationship, did they? Like you said, they didn't give them a reason. That, you know, there was no conflict there. We didn't see what happens when they really get to their lowest. You know, and they're on the brink of just calling it quits. But then that one thing pulls them back together again because they're Peter and MJ. And they're the strongest couple in the Marvel Universe. You know, that's what we wanted to see, and it didn't happen. But even bad cake tastes better with icing, says Romantic Avocado. Wow, we're really getting into the analogies, aren't we? That's awesome. I'll definitely be there for that video. It's a Spider-Crafter. Awesome stuff. What do you think about the Immortal Hulk works? Well, Spider-Man with the totem things doesn't. Ooh. I am planning to make a video on spider totems and that realm, so I'll save that for then. I don't know when that will come out, but I'm planning to sort of make a video on that. And the marriage won't fix Spider-Man comics if the writing and the characters are still bad. It's true. Being honest, Peter should marry Carly Cooper. Who agrees? Says Michael. Thought on pugs. I love pugs. Pugs are great. I think a problem is the current state of MJ is Venom, and also, oh my god, MJ is Venom. Don't get me started. Okay, but that's another video I'm working on. You know, and Peter, yeah, okay. Anyway, when are you going back to the Spider-Man cinematic universe that you did with the? Yeah, I'm probably not going back to that, to be honest. It was a good bit of fun though. I'm the biggest fan of MJ on the planet, but I only want the marriage if it properly serves her and Peter's characters. Absolutely agree. Oh my god, yes, yes, that is so true. True, right? Facts, right? This is what I'm saying. If they're gonna put Peter and MJ back together in the comics, in the 616 comics, they need to do it properly, and they have to commit. Because if they don't commit, what's the point? And I think this is what, right? So I have a theory. It's probably less of a theory and more fact. But the last time Peter and MJ were put together was the Nick Spencer run, right? That's the last time they were together, right? Like, sort of, you know, together. Now, Marvel Editorial, in all of their wisdom, decided to split them up again come Zeb Wells run, right? What happened to Peter Parker and MJ? Rah, that whole story. Do you remember that? Oh, my God. So, and it's been, what? How many years since they first got back together again? 2018? It's been 8 years? 8 years? And they haven't put them back together yet again? I think they're scared of doing it. I think they've thought about it. They've definitely thought about it. They've 100% thought of going, okay, let's just put them back together again because it'll sell books and the fans want it. But they know that they're not going to commit to it, so they don't do it. That's one of the reasons why I think they haven't done it yet again. I think one of the reasons why Peter and MJ are so reluctantly not going back together in the comics is because they know they won't commit. And they know if they don't commit, the fans are going to be all over them. And they will get just shat on. Okay, that's a theory. Probably more of a fact, probably. But that's my theory. A new book I'd definitely like to see is a new Superior Spider-Man book that isn't written by Dan Slott and someone who could bring fresh perspective and progress to the characters. That would be interesting. Did you know that that one Stacy made the Amazing Spider-Man? I did know that. Yes, she did. It was in a comic, wasn't it? It's been a minute since we seen Carly Cooper. Hopefully in the next run she comes back and they deadass ruin MJ and Pete's relationship. I thought the idea that Norman Osborn should team up with Dario Aga as like he did Thor and Hulk, make money Spider-Man just like Chad Hammer. You know, there's a few characters I'm very unfamiliar with there, but maybe. Off topic, but do you watch Thomas and Friends? Oh, I did as a kid. Oh my god, go to show. 2 there, 4 there, 6 there, 8, you know, go to show. Right, let me catch up on these comments. So I have an idea for my series I plan where there were multiple totems like Spider-Man, Black Panther, people like that, and Kraven's a totem is the hunter and believes he has to hunt them. That's a really cool idea. I like it. It's like a mini series. I think that's a really good idea, Romantic Avocado. Definitely write that. 100%. 100% write that. I like that. But 616 Spider-Man doesn't need a reboot, but there should be some things that need to happen. Should I comment them in the next video you're posting? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. You know, it won't be long until I make another video about 616 Spider-Man, so. Selnate, you have a point, but I reckon someone who isn't familiar of names and hadn't wrote a Spider-Man book before, but is enthusiastic and passionate about characters should write it. The constant MJ limbo is weighing the series down. It is. And I also do think we need fresh perspective. I think we need someone who understands Spider-Man, but doesn't understand him to a complete T, right? And that might sound weird and wrong, because it might sound like, you know, but I think we need someone who isn't going to be obsessed with a specific like, I don't know, like, isn't obsessed with getting Peter and MJ back together, because, you know, the problem with that is that we might end up with something like Ultimate Spider-Man with the marriage in the 616 universe, if that's the case. You know, we need a writer for Amazing Spider-Man that knows the character, knows what the character's about, how to handle the character, but someone that isn't completely devoted to any of the ideas, sort of the same way that we are. I think we need someone who's willing to come in and change things for the better, and do what the character needs to move him forward. It's just a thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe we do need someone who's chronically obsessed with Spider-Man. I think Joe Kelly's doing a pretty good job, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think he steadied the ship, is the way I'd put it. I think Joe Kelly is like, he's like an interim manager at a football club, right? You know, he's come in, he's done a pretty good job, he's steadied the ship, he's got some good reviews, right? He's done some good arcs, he's written a few good books, especially his first arc. I think he's maybe slightly falling off the rails a tiny little bit, but, you know, the books, you know, couldn't really get much worse anyway. So I think he's done a pretty good job so far. Do you think Ultimate Spider-Man 1610 should have stayed dead? Yes, I do. The problem is I'd have to write for years to build up for Peter's life, then Kraven's series leading up to Kraven's last hunt, and continue Peter's story after that. I don't think you'd have to do that. I think you could just have all of them become heroes and villains at the same time. Or at separate times, but like closer together. You want the marriage to feel natural and not forced or unnecessary, says Romantic Avocado. Here we go, we're back. Okay, we're back. So Sadie Sink, okay, confirmed as Jean Grey? Question mark? So, there's been these rumors for ages that Sadie Sink's going to be playing Jean Grey in Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? And then there's been Mayday Parker rumors. By the way, first of all, a question I've got for you guys is, who do you think Sadie Sink's playing in Brand New Day? We've got Rachel Cole has been a rumor because of the Punisher thing. Jean Grey, Mayday Parker, Carly Cooper. I could name Gwen Stacy. I could name every character under the sun. Although we've got Kernan Shipka rumors now that she's playing Gwen Stacy. So, how would I react if Sadie Sink's playing Jean Grey in Brand New Day? I would like it. I don't think she would be, though. I just got a feeling she's not. But coming in from Cryptic 4K quality, a reliable insider. This guy's really, really good with trailers. We know he's got insider information because he leaks trailer detail. He leaks trailer runtimes and he leaks movie runtimes way in advance before they come out. But he is now saying that it is pretty much nailed on. She's Jean Grey. You know, that's here's my thoughts on Spidercraft. I overlap myself way too much. The leaked trailer convinced me she's playing Jean. Yeah, I I think she's definitely playing a mutant. I mean, that's got to be right. That's got to be true. I think she's got to be Peter's new love interest, whether it be Gwen or Carly Cooper. I don't think she's a love interest. I really don't. She's 100% an antagonist. I can tell you exactly the way her story is going to go. No matter what her character is or who she is, her character is going to go. She's an antagonist to Peter. But Peter's going to do some digging into the whole Tombstone Scorpion debacle. She's going to find out that it connects to Jean or Sadie Sink's character somehow. And that Sadie Sink's either been framed, kind of like Bucky in Civil War, or she is like... or she's being used for her powers. And then he's going to come in and save the day. They're going to team up, and they're going to help each other in the end. That's what's going to happen. I can tell you for a fact that's going to happen right now. If I'm wrong, then I'm sorry. But I'm almost convinced that's going to be the case. Okay. Which fanfic Peter attacked the heroes for no reason? I wasn't talking to you, Lewis. I was talking to the Spider Craft. Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, Jean Grey. She's pretty much nailed on to be Jean Grey. That's the latest reports. So, I'm just feeding you guys that information. The next thing that I want to talk about is Sony's Spider-Man universe is going to be rebooted. So, and a Sony exec has confirmed that the Sony universe is dead. Woo! Let's have a party! Let's go! So, yeah, the Spider-Man universe, the Sony Spider-Man universe, the Kraven the Hunter one, Morbius, all them, it's dead. It's done. However, will there be a reboot? And if there's going to be a reboot, what is it going to entail? Now, here's the thing. Leave your thoughts in the chat. Will it be rebooted as a live-action universe? Or could it be rebooted, hear me out, as an animated universe? Sadie Sink is confirmed to be in Secret Wars, which makes me think that she's a mutant. If not, she's Jean Grey. Which Rhino do you prefer in the movie TASM 2 or the Kraven movie? I don't neither of them. The Rhino's been done a disservice. I reckon it'd be a good idea for it to be a sub-universe in the MCU, with Marvel Studios overseeing the production and some movies crossing over Tom Holland's Spider-Man. This is what they should have done in the beginning, Spider-Crafter. Yes, 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 yes. The Venom movies should have been in the MCU. As messy as that could have gotten, it should have been in the MCU. Morbius, I know people might disagree with me. Morbius should have been in the MCU. But it should have been overseen by Marvel Studios. Okay? And Marvel Studios would have made it a better movie. But Morbius could have then crossed over with Spider-Man. And he could have been a villain of Spider-Man, maybe. And that way, we could have had Marvel Studios overseeing a subsection of the MCU with the Spider-Man movies that don't directly cross over with the MCU stuff, don't have any MCU characters in, but they do directly reference the events of the MCU. So they'd reference Avengers 1, they'd reference Avengers Endgame, they'd reference Avengers Infinity War, they'd reference Ultron, they'd reference Civil War, they'd reference all the main events, but they wouldn't have any of the characters because there's still that rights issue, but Marvel Studios would actively oversee them. Okay? And then what they should have done is they should have used that opportunity to do these movies to make a Black Cat movie, to make a Morbius movie that was actually good, to make a Sinister Six setup movie or villains that would link into the Sinister Six. And then we could have had the Sinister Six face off against Spider-Man in an MCU. But a bit like the Netflix, exactly, a bit like the Netflix shows, exactly, right? So the Netflix shows, okay, are a part of the MCU. They always have been. Even when Netflix owned the rights to those shows exclusively, those shows were still in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Did you know, by the way? They were still in the MCU. They had connections with the MCU, but they just never had any actual characters directly cross over because of the rights issues. But you know, they had the Avengers Tower pop up here and there and stuff like that. So it was, you know, stuff like that. It should have been exactly like that. Morbius should appear in a movie, and you could have Blade, right? You could, yeah, exactly. You could do all. If it was MCU adjacent, it'd be so much easier for them to do the Blade thing with Morbius as well. Even though I mentioned that you wouldn't have MCU characters sort of going into, but you could, you know, you could work something out. The fact that Marvel tried to erase the Netflix shows from canon before the overhaul in Daredevil Born Again was crazy and diabolical. Don't know why they tried to do that. Has anyone seen the Downton Abbey final chapter? Oh my god, Downton Abbey on a Spider-Man show. Damn, I never thought I'd hear bloody Downton Abbey. It's a British thing though as well. Good old Downton Abbey. So yeah, Sony are rebooting their universe. And it looks like they might be leaning into the animated thing, which I'm glad. I'm glad that's the case, because Sony needs to stop making live action movies, and they need to start making animated movies. And they're good at they are good. I mean, guys, disagree with me in the chat if you really want to, or just agree. They are good at making animated movies. Sony are really, really good at making animated movies. They really are. They really are. I am British, but I do not watch Downton Abbey. That's my mother and brother. I am also British, and I do not watch it. So I am in the same boat as you, Spidercrafter. Okay, so that's the Sony reboot. Now let's talk about the Brand New Day synopsis. So the Brand New Day synopsis came out. It was about a week ago now. But it was really interesting. I thought we could pick it apart just a tiny bit. So 4 years is going to pass between No Way Home and Brand New Day. Which means, and this is the main thing I wanted to talk about, we are skipping the college trilogy. If this is true, you know, if it's not metaphorical and well, it can't be metaphorical, can it? It's literal. But if they're actually skipping 4 years, that means Peter Parker's 22. He's 22. He's my age, right? Oh my gosh, we're skipping the college. We're going straight to the adult trilogy. This is the adult trilogy. This is not the college trilogy. It's the adult trilogy now. So yeah, that's the but that's the thing. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Do you think the symbiote will appear in Brand New Day? That's a good question. I think there's a good possibility it could make post-credit scene appearance. Will Sony give up the Spider-Man rights back to Marvel? Absolutely not. Nope, they will never. I don't think they'll ever do it. I really don't. You know, people go, oh, they got close. What I think will happen is, I think indefinitely, I think we will have Spider-Man a part of the Marvel Universe. I think Marvel Studios will always have Spider-Man now. Spider-Man access. But I think Sony will always do the animated Spider-Man movies. They will, you know, if it comes to it, I think they will always try and make the live-action movies as well. You're now my driving background audio. Be super entertaining. Ray, I've been streaming for an hour. My voice is going. I can't promise that'll be the case. I have a theory. Due to Peter Parker being no more and Peter being Spider-Man full-time, he didn't do college. He was basically a flunky. And at the end, he'll enroll again to get his life together. There's a good theory. Hey, he probably just didn't go to college because of the whole Peter Parker no more stuff. Yeah, I agree, actually. So we're going to skip the college trilogy, okay? Which means he didn't go to college. But I agree with both of you guys. I think Peter Parker drops out of college. But also, because Peter isn't in college in the new movie, and because we're skipping the college trilogy, okay, this gives us a reason as to why MJ and Ned are back from MIT. Now, we know MIT isn't in New York, so having them be in the movie was a little bit confusing, because we were all like, well, if they're at MIT, then how the hell are they in the movie, right? Like, is Peter going to MIT? Are they on sort of summer break back to New York? How does that work? Like, what's going on? But they will have seemingly probably finished their course, and MJ will be in a job, and Ned will probably be in a job, okay? And that's probably how that works. Peter is still going to be living in that same dingy apartment. He probably has a job at a cafe or at the Daily Bugle, probably. And that's how he makes his money. And he probably dropped out of college. Because we saw he was studying for it at the end of No Way Home, he probably dropped out. Okay, and that'll probably be a big part of it. And maybe he might enroll at the end. So maybe it might be the college trilogy. I don't know. Who knows? Venom animated film should be about Eddie Brock getting over his hatred for Peter B. Parker / Spider-Man. The villain could be Carnage, summoning Null, which leads to Null being the big bad of Spider-Man 6. I don't think they'll cross over the animated movies and the live-action ones. But I do think that now that Sony is rebooting their Spider-Man universe, I do think they're going to just do the animated stuff. Because we've got 4 animated Spider-Man movies coming. We've got Venom, which has been confirmed, is in active development. We've got the Spider-Gwen movie and the Spider-Punk movie, which are coming along. And Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is the next one. Okay. People always want the college era until they realize that in a movie, it'll probably just feel like the high school era. So them skipping is a huge plus. That's a good point. I think he chooses to go to college at the end of the movie. Yep, good point as well. Still waiting for Beyond the Spider-Verse, says SR Striker. Will we see college flashbacks in Brand New Day? I don't think so. I think it's going to be... I think we'll see I think that montage that's rumored at the start of the movie where he's fighting villains from the end of No Way Home up until the start of Brand New Day, I think that's definitely going to be a thing. So I think we'll see stuff, villains like 8-Ball and the Enforcers and people, stuff like that. Possibly Boomerangs are part of that, and Tarantula as well, maybe. So I think we'll see a montage of the time that's passed, but I don't think we'll see flashbacks because I don't think there's going to be much to tell. I think Peter's genuinely just going to have been Spider-Man for 4 years, and I think I really like that idea. I think that's cool. In terms of Null and the Venom stuff, I think Null will probably be the villain of the Venom animated movie, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think it'll be Carnage, because I think Carnage was done in Venom 2, and they set up Null at the end of the Tom Hardy Venom movie. And so I think they'll pay that off in sort of a loose sequel. I think this Venom in the animated movie will be a different Venom to the one that we've seen in the Tom Hardy universe. But I think it will be a loose follow-up because I think they will do Null as the villain. Is the way I'm thinking about it, I think. Null should never be the villain of a Spider-Man movie. I don't think they've ever interacted in the comics. He's a Venom villain. That's right as well. He is a Venom villain. But do you remember when there was those rumors that Null was going to be the villain of Spider-Man 4? Do you remember that? I think that was when Sony wanted Spider-Man 4 to be a multiversal thing. Oh, God, those days. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I'm so glad we didn't get that. I need a cameo for the Gibbon. Do you think Black Cat will appear in the new trilogy or in a Sony movie? Oh, my gosh. They need to make a Black Cat movie. Or they at least need to have her in live action. I think Spider-Man 4 was a perfect opportunity for Black Cat to show up. But I think they've got way too much going on that I don't think it is the right time. I think depending on how Peter's arc plays out in Spider-Man 4, I think Spider-Man 5 could be, but it might not be the right time. So I'll just say that. I do want to see her, I really do, but I don't think it could be the right time. That was like last year and everyone was freaking out. Yeah, everyone was. I hear that Tom Holland's going to have an organic webbing, but I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, so Tom Holland is going to have organic webbing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is interesting. I think it's a good way to show the progression of the character. And I think the physical side of Spider-Man, the powers and the mutating, I think that's something that's never really been touched upon in live action. Maybe Spider-Man 2 with Sam Raimi did it slightly, but that was more of a mental thing for Peter Parker, right? So this is more of a physical adaptation that we're getting here. I never believed those rumors. Yeah, I was worried. I was worried because of the fact that they just seen $2 billion with No Way Home. And money is a huge incentive. So I never put it past them. I never put it past them to do Null teaming, Null is the villain for Spider-Man 4, teaming up with Venom, maybe bringing back Andrew and Toby. I know that sounds crazy, and that sounds stupid, and it sounds wacky, and it sounds unrealistic, but I do not for 1 second put it past Sony Pictures to try that idea. Because they saw $2 billion with No Way Home. They saw $2 billion. I cannot tell you how, and I'm so glad we've got what we... And I do think there was an internal battle. I really do. I really do. I do think there's been an ultimate battle. An internal battle. And I really do think that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have pried Sony away from that multiversal story, which was on the horizon for Spider-Man 4. And I think they've made them go street level. And I'm so happy that we're getting the movie that we're getting. I say that we haven't even had a trailer yet. It's so Man Spider is the final battle in Brand New Day. Man Spider, I don't think they'll do Man Spider because they're doing Man Spider in Spider Noir. So yeah, the battle between street level and multiversal movie was too realistic to where there's probably a lot of truth to it. Yeah, and the battle that we got, those reports, and it wasn't just from one insider, it was from multiple insiders, that Marvel and Sony were having a corporate battle over what this movie should have been. And ultimately, Marvel Studios won. Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige won. And I'm so freaking happy that they won that battle. Because if this movie was featuring Null as the main villain and had Venom and Toby and Andrew, we'd be cooked, man. We'd be cooked. If Man Spider is in Brand New Day, Cue the kids having nightmares and the angry parents emailing Marvel. Oh, yeah, by the way, Lewis, what do you think of My Time to Shine Hello? Because I've got a bomb about them that I need to drop. Oh, okay. What do I think about My Time to Shine Hello? I think that they were a good insider back during No Way Home. The No Way Home era. And that's why I have reported on some of the things that they've said post No Way Home, but recently, I want to say the last 6 months or so, I've not really paid much attention to what they've said. There have been a few bombshell rumors that they've dropped that I've not covered, because I as much as I want to cover everything, and rumors from insiders, quote unquote, is content for me. I don't feel right on making content on something that I don't really fully believe. At least when it comes to Daniel RPK and Cryptic 4K and even to a point, Jeff Schneider. I mean, we haven't heard anything from him in a while, but Alex Perez and these guys are really reliable. Like, Alex Perez, he got Madam Web spot on. Oh my god, he got that movie to a T. So I'm convinced. I'm convinced about what Alex Perez says. I still do believe Daniel RPK. As much as some people are a bit more reluctant. You should always take rumors with a pinch of salt, by the way. I'm not saying believe these people, but I'm saying, people have a reputation for a reason, and some people lose a reputation. You've got to navigate that when you're looking at these things. And that's one thing that I sort of try to do always when I'm trying to make videos on these rumors and stuff. Anyway, they won, but what did they have to compromise to win, though? That's a good point. I guess we'll just have to see. I think the main physical threat of Brand New Day will be Scorpion, with either Tombstone or Jackal pulling the strings. Tombstone, there's a current rumor that Tombstone is going to be the overarching villain of the whole trilogy, which I think is really interesting. And I'm going to discuss that a little bit later in a different video as well. Hey, Lewis, important question. So is the 616 Spidey created by Stan Lee is still going on to this day? I haven't read the comics, so is the Ultimate Spider-Man talking about the same version as Stan's? No, they are different versions. Yeah, My Time to Shine Hello has not said anything legit since No Way Home. And that's exactly why I don't really report on what they say anymore. But anyway, Daniel RPK and Nighttime Shine Hello are secretly the same person. There's no way that's true. Surely not. That can't be the bombshell. Come on, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. They don't report on the same stuff anyway. I mean, My Time Shine Hello posted a leak the other day. I forget what it was, but it was somewhat bonkers. Oh yeah, that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine are gonna die in the first 10 minutes of Avengers Doomsday. And I just thought, that's just ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. The burner account for Daniel RPK, says the Spider Crafter. But no, Daniel RPK, I think, during Brand New Day is give us things that are true. He was the one that told us a lot about some of the villains that were in the movie. If I remember, he was the one that reported on Tarantula and Boomerang, and then that ended up being true. I do, Daniel RPK, I still do, he hasn't got everything right. But yeah, I'm being serious. You're being serious? There's no way they're the same person. There's no way. You're having me on. There's no way they're the same person. You are having me on. There's no way they're the same person. They don't report the same things. Then again, I haven't looked at most of My Time Shine Hello's stuff recently. I did just see that report the other day, though, which I thought was utterly ridiculous. But yeah, what? Really? Where's the evidence? Is that true? I mean, I'm not gonna say it's true because I don't want to spread false rumors or anything. I mean, as far as I'm aware, that's not true. But damn, okay. Am I dropping a bomb on us, man? Bloody hell. Yeah, he posts fake leaks on My Time Shine Hello so he can garner more Twitter interactions and make more money. It also makes people think that they're different people when My Time Shine Hello is always wrong. They're not. My Time is a girl. Yeah, I thought My Time Shine Hello was a girl. I thought she was a she. I was led to believe. I did to begin with think that she was a he at one point, but she's she. It's a girl. All right, they're a girl. It's not true. I listen. I'll be careful with what I say here. That I don't listen. If you want that opinion, that's fine. I mean, I don't know where you're getting. I don't know where you're getting your evidence from. But I'm just I mean, Daniel RPK. If Spidercraft says what you're saying is true, it's devious on Daniel RPK. I love that word, devious. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna just say this. Either way, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then they've had me completely on toast, right? Because, British sourdough toast they've had me on completely with a bit of butter because I've just proven exactly their strategy, if that turns out to be true. Because I've just said, one of the reasons why I don't really report on much on what My Time Chan Hello is saying is because I feel like a lot of it isn't true anymore since No Way Home. And then Daniel RPK, I think, is still credible in some way. But obviously that's I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, the easiest way to tell is the same person, as they often retweet the same things at the exact same time. There's more evidence though, but that requires screenshots. Bye, SL Striker. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the stream. We've seen Time's face. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't believe they're the same person. I really don't. Listen, if you've got hard-faced evidence that this is true, then okay, fair play. But I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, My Time, I wish them the best. I wish them the best, and I hope that, if they are seriously in this industry and they are in the leaker community, they want people to trust them, then they've got to stop posting. She's got to stop posting stuff that ends up being true again. Daniel RPK, I think, still has some credibility. He has gotten a few things right about Brand New Day. The Spider-Man stuff he always seems to get right, some of it at least. So I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to comment on it any further. That's a rumor as far as I'm concerned. I'm not. But anyway, I digress. I am rambling. Imagine if they're related. I've got a ton of evidence. Well, I mean, okay, fair play. If you've got a ton of evidence, then fair play. I don't know. I've not got, I didn't even know we've seen My Time's face, but if we have, then yeah, I don't know. It's going to take some hard evidence to prove that theory, I think. But I don't know what evidence you've got. But either way, anyway, I'm just, I'm on an awfully long PR rant right now. Anyway, so yeah, the Brand New Day synopsis came out, and it was cool. And it seemingly, speaking of Daniel RPK, does actually seemingly confirm a lot of things that he says to be true. A lot of the story details point to a lot of what the reports came out from Daniel RPK up until up to the build up to the filming of Brand New Day. And then during the filming of Brand New Day, we got several reports about different story details with the hand and how there's going to be a mystery and stuff like that, and just general details about the film. A lot of what Daniel RPK has been saying has been sort of coming true, and the same with Alex Perez as well. He's been pretty consistent on this, Cryptic too. So it's looking like a lot of what earlier leaks were, and sort of the story leaks, not sort of the major plot leaks, but sort of the general plot and the general story, what the film's going to be sort of in, where the story's going to be, how it's going to sort of play out with some of the characters appearing, and that seemed to be true. So yeah, I'd say just be very careful with leaks, because some of them are turning out to be true, I think. So I'd say be very cautious if you don't want to be fully spoiled. Also, we've seen My Time's face. It either wasn't her or Daniel RPK's woman. I think you're speculating a lot here. I think you're speculating a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure that's true, but hey ho, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna sit here and say that's true. Except I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, they're different people. Anyway, if Mr. Negative appears in Spider Noir, do you think we'll see him in the new MCU trilogy? If he's in Spider Noir, I don't think he'll be in the new MCU trilogy. Unfortunately, I think that's the way Sony and Marvel are. They try not to cross-Chris the villains. This is one of the reasons why Ben Reilly is Ben Reilly in Spider Noir and not Peter Parker, as well. One of the reasons. But anyway. It's so easy to do. They even retweeted the exact same thing 4 hours ago. They do it all the time. The thing is, I don't know the deeper evidence, but I think, you know, when you're in the same community, like, for example, even me and Ray, for example, right? I mean, me and Ray don't really use Twitter a lot. I don't even think Ray has Twitter anymore. But if me and Ray were on Twitter all the time and we saw the same Spider-Man leak, we're probably going to retweet it at the exact same time when it comes out, right? Because, you know, we're both Spider-Man fans, right? Doesn't mean me and Ray are the same person, okay? Even though we could be. No, we're not. It's actually my burner. I'm just here like... that's why Ray's a mod! Oh my god, it's me! It's not me. So, yeah, you know what I mean? So... anyway, yeah, I'll shut up about it. It's fine. I mean, whatever. You know, mystery, whatever it is, you know, whatever. Right. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's a rumor. As far as I don't know the evidence either. So, you know, I'm not going to act naive either way about it. I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, they're different people. Yeah, I've not seen any evidence to suggest otherwise at this point in time. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it for the stream. So thank you everyone for coming to the stream. It was an amazing dun. The plot has been revealed as Lewis going through his own clone saga. Wait, what? Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean they're pretty specific tweets. We don't even know that spot. Okay, well. I mean, that's something people could look into if they want to. But yeah, anyway. Moving on. So, thank you for coming to the stream. It's been an amazing stream anyway. You've all been awesome, as always. I always love talking to you guys. I'm going to be trying to stream next Friday as well. If it's not Friday, it will be a different day. But we are back on the streams. So, thank you very much for attending and coming and listening to me for an hour and a half. It's been an awesome stream talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. And the 616 as well, and Brand New Day and all stuff. So yeah, not a problem, Liz. I've now seen even good BG. Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Make sure to subscribe if you're not. If you have to not be subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit the post notification bell as well, the bell icon, so you do not miss the stream when it comes next. The next one. And yeah, so hopefully it'll be Friday. More details on the community tab. So stay tuned. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Well, it should be a video tomorrow, actually, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the video, so make sure to stay tuned for the video tomorrow. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and peace.